Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. Having spoken about many aspects of Natya Shastra and the works or, basic theology or theory or, you know, process or system that is being established or whatever it is, from the viewpoint of dharma, artha, kama, moksha, chaturvidha phala aspects. And, the very, nature of Brahmanda or this multiverse and this human existence, factors and cofactors that govern determinants and predeterminants that really govern this human existence, which Natya Brahma or Natya Sutradhara was speaking about, and talking about Saptaswaras and its various types and their applications. Everything, if I really look at, everything has been clearly documented and there is clarity for that as to what exactly needs to be done for this multiverse wherein this Prakriti and Purusha needs to maintain. Now, as a part of epilogue, after having spoken more about it, I would just want to throw light on where exactly gaps are. That's the point which I want to more or less talk about in this video. Though it might sound harsh and hard, it has to be accepted. There is no other go for the one who is hearing to videos or who is following or who is not following. The point over here is how many of us have really realized about this point, these pointers. Whether it is from the astrological point of view, whether it is from the yoga point of view, whether it is from the dharma point of view, whether it is Sanatana dharma point of view or whatever it is. And everybody are having their own versions. No doubt about it, unfortunately. And this has been happening almost like from centuries and centuries, ever since this multiverse existed. That's the point which I want to talk about. See, having spoken about various factors and cofactors, to what extent the researchers and scientists are going with in the right direction, I leave it on to them. I leave it on to individuals to give it a school of thought. Are we really taking these concepts serious? That is my point. Though today, if I see the research papers are not making any sense for me, reason being, today we are talking at a subliminal level. Let's say that whatever factors and cofactors or whatever limitations, whatever theories, I'm talking as per Vedic time, Vedas and Upanishads. Definitely, Natya Brahma or Natya Sutradhara would have done, keeping in view the very aspect till the extent of earthly existence existing, right? Then why are we creating those blunders? And every one of us think that we didn't have this, we didn't find a solution to this day. I really ask for the research scholars or the scientists, were they able to know the very godly existence, that godly element? When it is clearly stating that Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema and Akhila Anda Koti Brahmanda Naika, if we actually really look at, and if we take from the equation point of view, if we do a math, it's a simple math altogether. You will get a solution. But are we ready for doing? Are we ready to accept that? That is the point which I want to talk about. And how many of the gurus or teachers in the respective fields of classical dance form, or it could be any department, any portfolio, are really giving this bit of knowledge, this exact piece of knowledge, which really helps the human existence to go to the level of near to perfection, as Swami Vivekananda said. Why aren't we thinking on these grounds? When Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or Ravana Maharshi or Kanchi Paramacharya or Shirdi Sai Baba, or I do not want to take Satya Sai Baba here. Let me be honest on that. Or any gurus for that matter who are existing. How many of the gurus really have this? And how many of the scholars or scientists really think from these grounds in the broader perspective and giving a proper solution? And why NASA is still like searching for that what you call human element, human being element, existence element in interterrestrial, sending a space shuttle, when everything is clearly stated, Akhila Anda Koti Brahmanda Naika, when no one can reach. And only Saptarishis could reach to that level. How they could reach? Yoga Drashta, Yoga Drushya, Yoga Maya, Yoga Mahamaya. How did they get it? Shastras. And how can one, how can an individual at a human existence level can reach to that level? Classical dance form and classical music form. Saptaswaras, having certain frequencies. Are we like having a deaf eye, deaf ear? Are we trying to ignore these facts, and are we trying to get to the level where we want to create our own principles, our own theology? When there is a proper systematic theory or proper theology that has been told by Natya Brahma or Natya Sutradhara, this is where our system is failing, ladies and gentlemen. That is the reason why I had to explain every bit of it. Though I had explained in brief, in short, I have not even touched the advanced level. In my coming videos, I will be touching upon those. How exactly the what you call rishis and munis, or terrestrial level, intra-terrestrial level, interterrestrial level, terrestrial level, terrestrial level, extraterrestrial level, ultimate terrestrial level being things. It's a huge gap. And that is the reason why today we are facing issues. We are having issues. And today we have made it a cult to follow it. Unfortunately, I am one of those. I was forced to understand that this was correct. And my parents, on the other hand, they were brought up with that environment. My parents were brought up in that environment. Their parents were brought up in that environment. Like me, there are many others. Do we have any answers to this? That's the point. So, in the process of delving and deep diving into the subject, what I have noticed is that the very theology or the theories have been either removed or replaced with own thoughts. Everybody are establishing their own theology. Everyone have their own theology theory. And they produce their papers, white papers, not talking about the exact meaning. Ladies and gentlemen, if now we as human beings are not understanding it, it's a doomsday for the human existence. The Natya Shastra's very importance, which one needs to understand. Today, if I see and go through every white paper submitted, now the papers were able to give not a single white paper could give a comprehensive solution to very questions of Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema and Akhila Anda Koti Brahmanda Naika aspect. Is this the fault of Natya Brahma or Natya Sutradhara? He has clearly given all the guidelines and he has clearly given all the theology and theory. Why aren't we following as human beings? This is for everyone, including me. Which one needs to understand? And I see many insane experimentations done on the human existence with the permanent replacement of human bodies with hormones, body parts, and whole of the compositions of DNA, RNA, and the chromosomes, which is happening in the medical science. Sorry to say, but is it really what you call a right to violate the very fact that one is born as a male, one is born as a female? If a male is what you call is being operated and transformed to female, don't you think that's violation and going against the nature? Likewise, vice versa, female to male. Of course, I don't what you call, I agree with the exceptions of the fact that, if they are born naturally that way, not a problem. Are we to blame the medical science for this? Think about it. Even scientists, they are creating with robotics and nanotechs. To what extent are they able to decipher the frequency levels? Is that what Natya Shastra or Natya Sutra, the Natya Shastra is telling? It's a very harsh point which I am talking about. Whereas it has never been existing as per theory at all. It is we human beings who have created and we are doing that. having pseudo gurus, fake gurus in and around. Out of 100 gurus, I see only one guru, perfect guru, who does not speak. One astrologer who gives the correct predictions. And a few hand-picked parents who know what exactly knowledge base is all about, and he guides his or her kids properly. Unfortunately, this did not happen to me. For all, I would not blame my parents for that. I will not blame my parents for that. I will blame their upbringing. Like me, there are many of them who are suffering this dogmatic state of mindset. Have we ever understood as an individual to really think and ponder on this point? To give you an example, when I was talking about this kind of research work, I went to many places, I was asking, I was ridiculed. I was not even cared for. In fact, I was ridiculed and I was bullied also. And whomsoever I asked, they had one simple answer: believe in God. God will show you the path. Though God has showed me the path, that's okay. That's a different aspect. But to what extent is this? Are we not violating what exactly Natya Shastra is talking about? And instead of deep diving and delving into the subject, individuals would be ready to exploit him or her. And they would rather, beat around the bush with the knowledge base. This is the epilogue, by the way, whatever that I spoke about, than trying to understand and guide. How many of us, how many of the gurus, how many of the teachers who are in Natya Shastra, who are in the classical dance form, or who are in the classical music form, are having this distinct vision? Ladies and gentlemen, that is my direct question, a straightforward question to everyone, whoever are following. And this is happening, and this had been happening and has had been happening with me in the medical science field specifically. Is medical science like a kind of like full-fledged kind of thing? When I met a neuropsychiatrist 15 years ago, he was suggesting me to go to what you call mental asylum and take tablets. What is this? Did we really understand the Shastras properly as human beings? When we know that there is so much theology involved in this, so much theory, so much theology, is this not ignorance by the medical science or the medical doctors, specifically who are into neuropsychiatrist or in the psychiatric field? From the psychosis, psychometry and psychiatry point of view, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very hard point and harsh point which I am talking about. And how many of us really have understood the very Saptaswaras, 7 swaras, Saregama Padani, from the viewpoint of healing touch? Have we ever defined that in a proper way? It's a far cry, ladies and gentlemen. Likewise, in the field of depression, anxiety, and other curable ailments of the human existence, I see that they are replaced with the psychedelics. Instead of treating them in a proper way, they give tablets which have compositions or the chemicals. Of course, I agree with cancer, brain tumor, and other things. When we have whatever that is there as per theology, which I was speaking in my videos of 28 episodes, why aren't we applying that? Think about it. And if we see Natya Shastra's Natya Shastra's perspective and purpose is to create that renaissance, create that harmony, peace, and humility aspect in the minds of humanoid or human existence. Is the classical dancer doing that? Or is it that it's a mere presentation which I want to do? Have we ever understood that classical dancer or classical musician or the Vedic scholars or someone who does Ghanapati are the healers? They are the real healers, not these medicines or whatever it is. Of course, these medicines to an extent they will help. But I have seen what you call, I have seen some of the individuals who got healed with the mantras, tantras, tantras, and yantras. It is the highest level of exploitation. Instead of using for the positive kind of thing, they are using for the negative kind of thing. I see black magic existing in the north side. And even in south side it is existing. It's not that. So how do you justify this? When it is clearly stated as per Shastras, it has to be used for a positive kind of thing. Why aren't we using? When it is clearly stating that as per Shastras, these swaras, Saregama Padani, having that healing touch, highest frequency level, why are you using for yourself? Do that selfless service. That's what is my question. Of course, you will be paid for that. It's not that you would not be paid for that. Why aren't we thinking on those grounds? And we have many papers submitting on that. Tilanas, Alankaras, or whatever it is. You name it. If you really see that 72 Alankaras or those, Bijaksharas, whatever that I was speaking about, they have that healing touch. If one does that, he or she would be healed. And this is specifically not only for classical dance form or who is in the fine arts and culture form, but this is for even normal individual audience. And to be precise, the human existence or humanoid is crestfallen. When I say crestfallen, crestfallen. And they are like forcibly getting succumbed to that insane, unusual, systematized, approach of making the humanoid a black sheep. In case if one wants to follow also, unfortunately, he or she would not be followed. would not be able to follow also. That's the point which I am stressing upon, which one needs to understand. How far are we trying to apply whatever theories or whatever theology that is there as per mantra tantra, mananat traite iti mantraha? How many of us really understood what really is there in mantra, what bijakshara is there? If only every one of us really try to understand whatever that is there in the mantra or bijakshara or tantra aspect, I'll tell you, he or she would be in peace of mind. Okay, I'm talking about PEACE of mind, not PIECE of mind. There is a lot of difference. Here, if you replace IECE, that's where the problem comes. And that's when this depression and anxiety, and that's when the suicidal tendencies, etc., 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 are coming. Which one needs to think? In clear, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever understood? And this is a direct question to the scholars. And this is a direct question to the teachers, dance teachers and musicians, musical teachers. Of course, I will be talking about 108 karnas wherein you have a comprehensive solution for everything there. But initially, I just touched upon by giving you the very base level study for Natya Shastra. That's the point I am talking about. Is it acceptable? It is acceptable to an extent, I agree. Not to a level of getting to near to destruction. If it is near to constructive aspect of the human existence, I can take it. But not to near to destruction aspect. In fact, this is happening by and large for centuries now, which includes me, so-called Ramachandra, who is speaking, my parents, parents, their parents, like me, XYZ, other names, other parents. So, of the billion population, if we talk about, how are we thinking of creating that renaissance? And this is where Shankaracharya's what you call Ekoham Shivam, Aham Brahmasmi. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Brahmaiva Jivo Naparaha. How many of us really have understood this? On contrary, Natya Sutradhara or Natya Brahma has clearly explained from the classical dance form whole of the concept from the viewpoint of Srushti, Sthiti, Laya, Jati, Gati. Using Nada Bindu Kala. In a very simple form, taking the what you call caricatures of historic, so-called mythology, myth plus eology, getting that character. Rama, whether it is Rama, whether it is Sita, whether it is Ravana, whether it is Mohini, whether it is Bhasmasura, whether it is Vishnu, whether it is Shiva, whether it is Lalita. They are mere names. How many of us really have taken this? Which one needs to understand? Now, today, the gray areas, which are as follows. Upbringing. I have had suffered. I'm telling you, I have suffered to a very large extent. Let me be honest. And I am talking pretty straight. I don't mind people taking it wrong, but I have suffered the dent. Ever since I realized this fact during my 10th year, in fact, my 10th year. Not that I am blaming my parents over here. I am not blaming my parents. It is not the parents' fault over here, my father's or my mother's, but it is their upbringing that has made them to follow. And my parents' upbringing, those parents' upbringing, and those parents' upbringing, see how the chain has started. Can we like put a full stop to this, understanding the exact meaning of what exactly this human existence meaning is all about, ladies and gentlemen? And at least in the 21st century, coming generations, let's try understanding by deep diving and delving into the subject. And this is directly or indirectly affecting the human existence as a whole. Forget about the clan, religious, caste, religion, caste, and creed. Leave alone all of those. This was not there at all. Knowledge transfer. This is one of the grayest area which I see. I need to blame what you call our education system. I'm questioning the education system. Straight, upfront. I need to be blunt. Today, knowledge transfer is purely biased. I am telling you, it's biased. To share my experience, I will tell you, I was ridiculed for my interests. One and all, everyone, left, right, and center. To this day, I'm not trying to question their whatever they did, but I'm trying to put forward and get that to the notice of the people. How far are we? How far have we understood what is the true meaning of knowledge over here? Is it based on the biased attitude? That's the point which I want to get to the notice. It's not that I have suffered. If only I had suffered, I would have stopped, but I didn't stop. By the divine grace, I am speaking. No exceptions here. Whether it is your parent, whether it is your father, whether it is your mother, whether it is your sister, whether it is your anybody. Today, that is the situation happening. I see many programs wherein they are exploiting the very essence of the music. And it's what you call internal meaning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a hard reality again, and harsh reality. And on contrary, we speak many things. Like me, there are many of them, like mushrooms. In my 7 years of experience, whomsoever I met, I have seen what you call a few scholars who were ignored and who are still ignored. I met one of the scholar who is an IITian and PhD holder. He just threw away all his degrees, all his PhD works. And he is living a saintly life now. When I asked him, "Sir, what is that you have gained?" His answer was simple. Why do you want to run around all this, insane people? They don't know anything. Whether it is a scholar from various portfolios. I'm being very bold on my statements. I wanted to be. It's not that I'm trying to, what you call, I just shy away from that. This so-called getting a teacher or guru is not as easy as it seems to be. In this century at least. And I don't find a proper guru and right kind of guru. I met many of the gurus. They say they are Peethadipatis. I met one of the guru, actually. I do not want to take anybody's name or whatever it is. At least 3 or 4 gurus who were what you call having danda, actually, which a Peethadipati wears, or so-called Jagat Guru has. His actions were nonsense, actually. He was trying to exploit everything. I'm not being rude towards them, but I'm just trying to give you the facts. When we have so many things in place, whatever that is happening in the universe, have we ever understood that, ladies and gentlemen? In my 28 episodes, I have tried to explain. It's not me, by the by, but I just gave whatever Mother Goddess has said. How many of us really have tried to understand that concept from that viewpoint? So today, of the gurus of guru or teachers, real teacher is hard to be found. And in precise, the one who is seeking needs to go through hardships. Yes, that has to be accepted. So, see, the point is, why are we trying to humiliate someone or show that biased attitude? That is what is my question when it comes to the knowledge base or knowledge transfer or hearing to whatever this person is having this knowledge. Not only that, misusing of the old theories. Today I see that this human existence is misusing the knowledge base, and everyone has their own theories. Their own theories. Sad but ugly truth. In the name of occult science. Whereas if you clearly understand and try to understand, there are practices from the harmless, harmless practices in the Natya Shastra given from the specifically for the human existence and humanoid. From the viewpoint of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Mantra, tantra, yantra. This is one specific area, gray area, wherein people are exploiting, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, but I need to be harsh on this. Misuse of the science of vibration and sounds. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. How far are we trying to use what you call saptaswaras for the benefit of mankind? I have attended n number of what you call renditions. whether it is classical dance form or whether it is a classical music form. I have found none of them to be effective. Why? Why is my question? Are you trying to entice yourself? Are you trying to what you call prove a point for yourself? Or whether is this form for what you call for the benefit of the audience? Have we ever asked this question? Today, considering these gray areas, none of us have really tried to show that point, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry though. So, and on top of it, on contrary, I find noisy areas. If only if we understand Natya Shastra, Natya Sutradhara or Natya Brahma has clearly explained those decibel sounds for the human existence to certain extent, not to a large extent, which is harmful for for a humanoid or human existence. Have we ever thought about that? No, we do not want to think about it. So here is where actually, like, if we can understand Natya Shastra from this viewpoint, maybe humanoid or human existence would find harmony and peace, or whatever that I am talking about. Though my due apologies in case if I am being harsh, but I need to be. It is not that I have told 28 episodes and after that I am talking about this epilogue. I had to talk about this because this is the reality that is happening. That was what exactly told as per Natya Shastra or Natya Brahma or Natya Sutradhara to Parvati. Ladies and gentlemen, we didn't really understand that. Thus, I conclude this video with a positive note. Stay blessed and have a real blissful life. May the Guru's grace be with you. Have a nice day ahead.